Hello and welcome to episode 40 of Battlefield 4 News. I apologise if the volume levels are a bit off on this video. I've just installed a new sound card and the microphone's been peaking a bit, but hopefully I've got it adjusted right. But I've already had to trash the narration on this episode twice and I'm not doing it again. In this episode we're going to cover the new server update, we have another possible date for Naval Strike DLC, and we have some perils of reporting news on Battlefield 4 and trusting your sources. So firstly we have the release of the R30 server update, which covers a few issues with the AA mine and the Javelin. So you will no longer be able to redeploy AA mines. Once you've put them down, that's it, you won't be able to pick them up again. I have no idea why they've decided that needed to be put into the game, but they have. Players will also no longer be able to equip the AA mine along with rocket launchers. The AA mine will now effectively classify as a rocket launcher, so you'll be able to equip it with slams and anti-tank mines and repair tools, but not with other rocket launchers. So the AA mine and Stinger combo is now not allowed. The Javelin has had a nerf, so you can now not have two Javelins in the air at the same time. You will have to fire the Javelin, lock on, hit the target and then reload and fire again, rather than being able to fire a missile off, reload it, fire a second missile and have them both home in on the same lock. So this is the perils of YouTube and the forums, because everybody told everybody else that you could do this. They've now nerfed it. We have another possible, and I say possible, Naval Strike DLC launch date, and that is the 25th of March. Now this comes from a forum post by one of the DICE representatives, and so has got some evidence to support it, but again it's just a possible date. So this forum post starts out as somebody having a problem with the browser plugin for Battlelog. A DICE rep called UPAM comes online and says yes, this is a problem they know about, it's not actually with the plugin, it's with the front end, and it's going to be sorted out in the next patch. So somebody obviously asks, when is this patch going to be? And UPAM says that the patch is going to be on the 25th of March. So what could lead this to being the Naval Strike DLC launch date? Well, it's a Tuesday and DICE like to release their DLCs on a Tuesday. We know there's going to be an update on this date, and we know that DLCs require updates. So usually for a DLC there is a server, a client and a Battlelog update all at the same time. We've had an EA rep saying that Naval Strike DLC is coming out before the end of March, so the two current favourite dates are the 25th and the 31st, but nobody knows for sure. A lot of people were really sure it was going to be on the 18th, but the 18th came and went, and so really we're just going to have to wait for DICE to tell us when it's coming out. And nobody's quite sure why DICE and EA have decided that they don't want to advertise their DLCs anymore. They just kind of sneak them out. Most other companies will say, look, here's a shiny new DLC, rush out and pre-order it, or rush out and buy premium so you can get it 2 weeks early. But for some reason DICE have decided that advertising their content would be a bad idea. Recently a lot of gaming news websites and forums and YouTube channels have been talking about riot shields coming to Battlefield 4, and I thought I'd use this story to highlight what the problems are with reporting news in Battlefield 4 and gaming in general. So what I've done is I've traced back this story to its original source, and that appears to be an article on the Polygon website. The headline for this article is Battlefield 4 Dragon's Teeth expansion delivers two-handed ballistic shield. Now the source for this article is a talk given by Ryan Duffin, who's one of the senior animators at DICE, and the talk was given at the Gamers Development Conference. And he talks about issues they had implementing the ballistic shield into the Frostbite engine, and issues with console memory, and how originally they wanted to do a shield where you could shoot from behind it, but because of console's memory limitations that wasn't possible. So they came up with the idea for a two-handed ballistic shield, and they've implemented it and tested it, and it all seems to work very well. So you may be wondering why I think you should take the issue of the ballistic shield with a pinch of salt and query it. The answer is quite simple. At no point in this Polygon article is there a quote from Ryan Duffin ever suggesting that the two-handed ballistic shield is coming out in the Dragon's Teeth DLC. There are quotes about how you implement a shield and the fact that they've managed to get it working if it's two-handed, and that they've tested it out in game. But the headline for this article is Battlefield 4 Dragon's Teeth expansion delivers two-handed ballistic shield, but there's no evidence in the text of the article that that's what he said. In the way that web reporting works, lots of other gaming news websites have picked up this article and reported it, but they haven't reported what Ryan Duffin has said. All they have reported is that Polygon have put out this article. So we now have a dozen websites all saying that Battlefield 4's Dragon's Teeth expansion delivers two-handed ballistic shield. And because there's a whole load of websites saying it, the forums are now saying it, and YouTube commentators are saying it. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that this report isn't true, but what I'm saying is that the way that it's been reported by Brian Crescent on Polygon means that you can't back up the headline, because there's no quote from Ryan Duffin or any text from his speech that actually says that the headline is true. So when it comes to making Battlefield 4 news, all I can tell you is that that is what Polygon have said, the same as everyone else on the web. And originally I wasn't even going to cover this story, but because it's spread so quickly across the forums and across YouTube and other news websites, I thought I would use it to highlight just how bad the news reporting on gaming is. This story is actually less reliable than the evidence we have for Naval Strike coming out on the 25th of March. For that, at least we can see the forum posts and read them. But for this, there is no evidence in this story at all that Ryan Duffin ever said that the ballistic shield was coming out in the Dragon's Teeth expansion. So when it comes to Battlefield 4 news, I try and track down where a story came from, who reported it, what website it was on, and what their source was. And that way I can try and work out how plausible a story is. I'll try and give you all the information I can and let you make up your own minds as to how true stories are. If something comes from the official Battlefield blog, then you can be pretty sure that it's going to be true. But in terms of this story and the way it's been reported, all I can say is that it's plausible, but you can't say it's true. So I might come up with some graphics that clearly show you what my opinion on a story is, whether it's fact or whether it's plausible or whether it's false or whether it's just a rumour. And that's it for this episode of Battlefield 4 News. Hopefully my report onto the behaviour and attitude of EA should come out Friday or Saturday, depends when I finish editing it, and I'll release the next Battlefield 4 News whenever there's news. Thanks for watching.